Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Sorry.
Thank you. Mr. Issa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Boy, there's so many inaccuracies, so little time. Perhaps let's start with something from the gentlelady from Hollywood. Isn't it true that, in fact, the military's mission has historically not been to guard either VIPs or the State Department as a whole?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Isn't it true that, in fact, your organization works under the regional security officer for Baghdad?
Yes, sir.
And isn't it true that contractors have been used directly and indirectly, in other words, non-federal employees, in places like Beirut, Afghanistan, Bosnia, under the Clinton administration? Routinely, isn't there a historic time in which we use non-career RSO, Foreign Service officers for these jobs?
Since the founding of the Republic.
Okay, so we're not talking about the military here at all, including, with all due respect to Secretary Gates, somebody, if the State Department recruited for the positions you're presently providing, they would be, in all likelihood, recruiting either current or prior military, wouldn't they?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and is it reasonable for the State Department to own attack helicopters? Or Bell helicopters that are weaponized? Well, that's up to
them, and our helicopters aren't weaponized.
Yeah, let's look at it another way. Outside of the two theaters, Afghanistan and Iraq, do you know of any place in which the State Department owns or directly controls gunships, if you will, to protect convoys?
They do some crop eradication, some cocaine eradication work in Colombia. That's the only place I know of.
Okay, so this is an unusual mission, and one that begs for not creating a career position for, Foreign Service officer, helicopter pilot. There'd only be about 2 or 3 places they'd ever be. Isn't that true?
Well, actually, those are all flown by contractors as well, sir.
I
Down
agree.
in Colombia.
Yeah, I'm very well aware of that. And that's the point, I guess, is that we're having a hearing that is supposed to not be about your company and supposed to not be about one incident on September 16th. It's supposed to be about cost effectiveness of contractors, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And I wish we were bringing in facts and figures about, let's say, $600 billion of DOD contracts or DOD cost into 1 million soldiers, so that we could kind of go, well, isn't that about $600,000 for every soldier? Isn't, in fact, the cost of the Department of Defense, the military, far greater than what we pay our men and women in uniform at the time that they're in combat?
I don't know what those numbers are, sir, but that would be a great, fully burdened cost study that Congress could sponsor. They don't have to do the whole thing. Just take some key nodes and really study it.
Well, and hopefully we will. Hopefully we will get to serious discussion on these issues, because I think that looking at the cost benefit should always be done. And I don't want to, for permanent requirements, I don't want to use contractors if, in fact, federal employees would be more appropriate. I will mention one thing, is if you're feeling a little pressure today, if it's a little tough, just be glad you don't make a diabetes drug. We have
to where, sir?
Be glad you don't make a diabetes drug. Compared to what we did to the Avandia makers, GlaxoSmithKline, you're getting off easy, trust me. They had their product destroyed by jury-rigged testimony and studies that were essentially co-opted in advance. But let's just go to one area that I think hasn't been discussed, and others might not discuss it. Is your sister's name Betsy DeVos?
DeVos.
Yes. Is that your sister?
Yes, it is.
And was she a former Michigan Republican Party chairwoman?
Yes, she was.
And was she a pioneer for Bush?
I don't know. Could be.
Okay. Was she a large contributor to President Bush?
They probably were.
And raised a lot of money for President Bush.
Could easily be.
Went to the Republican conventions in 2000, 2004.
I would imagine they did, yes.
Isn't it true that your family, at least that part of the family, are very well-known Republicans?
Yes.
Wouldn't it be fair to say that your company is easily identified as a Republican-leaning company, and, in fact, the Amway company somewhat so because of family members there? Just you don't have to speculate overly, but isn't that generally something you understand?
Blackwater's not a partisan company. We haven't done any we execute the mission given us, whether it's training Navy sailors or protecting State Department personnel. Yes, I've given individual political contributions. I've done that since college, and I did it when I was an active duty member of the Armed Services, and I'll probably continue doing that forward. I didn't give up that right when I became a defense contractor.
And Mr. Chairman, just to finish the thought, like we did on the other side of the aisle, I think you're exactly right, that in fact, while being identified as partisan Republican, in fact, your company appears to have done what all companies do, which is in fact to operate to do the job they're doing in a nonpartisan way. And I would hope that this committee and the public takes note that labeling some company as Republican-oriented because of family members is inappropriate, and I would hope that we not do it again, and I yield back.
Well, the only one who's done it is you.
Mr. Chairman, I think it's been made. I think the
maybe
report
that's
made it
why
very
all the Republicans
clear.
are defending the company. Well, Mr. Yarmouth, it's your time.